Hello, everyone. It's William here. How are you all doing today? I hope you're having a great day. It is a beautiful Monday here in Ligonier, and the birds are chirping. I've got all the windows open. Well, not all of them, but most of the windows in the house open. It is a stunningly beautiful day. Not too hot. It got up to about 70. Well, it says 76 was the high today, but it did not feel like it got up to quite that high, but maybe it did. Maybe it did. I was in the cottage for the hottest part of the day, and it's cooler in the cottage right now. Let's see here. Donna is here. Says hello, William. It's gorgeous here in Central Alabama too. Nice. Hello, Anna. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, it is a beautiful day here, and there's been a lot going on this weekend. I don't know how your weekend was. Let me know in the comments. Suzanne is here. Hello, hello. Let me know how your weekend was in the comments. We were pretty busy in the store. We had two different classes. We had a class on Friday. One of our friends from Johnstown came in and wanted to explore the idea of making some bracelets for some friends as a gift. And we didn't actually think necessarily that we were definitely going to get started. Hello, Norma. Thanks for joining us. We were just kind of looking at it, and then we found all the stuff that would have made bracelets that were perfect. So we made them together too. So that was really nice. And I got to spend time with her, and it's always good to catch up. I love making new friends in Johnstown. I miss some of our friends in Ligonier. We don't see many of them anymore because we don't have the store. And so even though we have the cottage, it's a little bit different. We're kind of on a different time slot, and we're not just, can't just stop in. So it is, it's different, and I miss people. So it's nice to be making friends in Johnstown who are more local and who are coming in more often and kind of saying hi and making stuff with me. It's really nice. And then I had a class coming in on Sunday, and so they showed me a picture of a project they wanted to make, and it was knotting. So knotting between beads, like pearl knotting, and I have not done any knotting in years. Literally years. So I took a chunk of the day on Saturday to practice my knotting skills. I used to be pretty good at it, and it came back pretty quickly. So if you didn't see, I even made a little quick demo reel and short about a quick and easy way to kind of knot in between beads. So hopefully you saw that and gave that a share on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that. TikTok even. We're on TikTok. Did you know that? We're on TikTok, y'all. And Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky too. And Threads. We're on Threads too. Make sure you follow us everywhere. Suzanne says it was quiet, avoided Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest sounds like it could be fun. I don't know. I do like jazz. Hello, Susie, our neighbor. Thank you so much for joining us. Donna says, I finished up the show on Saturday and made enough money to pay my big home insurance bill. Woohoo, that's awesome. That's a plus, right? Definitely a plus. And if you didn't see, Donna shared a lot of photos of her setup, shared photos of some of her neighbors at the show she was at, which is really great to see, and shared a photo of herself in her AG shirt. If you didn't know, once upon a time, Allegory Gallery, we had our own t-shirts that we made and sold. And Donna grabbed one at some point. So she was in her AG shirt, which we appreciate. Anna spent time at home this weekend, trying to kick this sickness I've had for so long. Still, Anna, oh no. Oh no. Sorry to hear that. Suzanne says that demo was great. Thank you. I tried to make it simple, and I hope it came across as simple. You know, I think people are very, they don't like to do knotting because they think it's going to be complex or this hard thing, and it does take time. It is time consuming, But I think, as you can see in the demo, it's not as time consuming as sometimes you think about or remember. I remembered it being a lot more time consuming, but we used to also use a knotting tool. There's a special tool that you can get that's on a spring, and it helps you kind of guide the knot closer to the bead. And they are nice, but I feel like that took more time than what I was doing. And I just did a very simple knot. You can get more complicated with your knots too, but I just wanted to show the very basic. This is what you can do. And the nice thing about that is, I think Suzanne mentioned it, is how nicely things drape when you knot them. It's a totally different feel than wearing something done on beaded wire, on beading wire. It allows there to be joints kind of in your design. So it's a totally different feel. It just takes more time. That's just all there is to it. And so the class came in on Sunday after I practiced that, and I ran them through what you have to do the knotting. And this happens very often when we get ready to teach a knotting class, is we say, you can do it this way. And then we go through the process, which, like I said, isn't bad, but so you can go through this, or you can use like seed beads, or in this case, we also have some vintage hematite, tiny little vintage hematite beads. I think they're also in the online store. And they give the appearance of kind of a knot, because they're all a little bit different. They're cut differently. They're not similar to one another. And so I said, you have this option too. And the class took that option. They decided not to knot. So even though I practiced it, at least I did get a little quick demo out of it for y'all, but we did not use the knotting after all. But I feel like the knotting is something that I want to start using a little bit more, maybe in my own work. So we'll see how that goes. I may make a knotted something here in the near future, because I feel like I just really enjoyed the way it felt and the way it draped, because it was so totally different. And I think some of my triple wrap bracelets and things like that could benefit from having a different feel like that. Anna says, I saw your demo. Thank you. Suzanne says, Donna, your setup and products were great. Yes, they were. Donna says, that's wonderful, William. I got to meet several like-minded people at the show on Saturday, and I saw your knotting video, and I'm going to have to give it a try. Please do. Suzanne says, it's just not jazz, and it's outside with wall-to-wall people. Oh, that's a lot. Y'all have big parties down there, from what I'm understanding. We don't get those. We have one of those here in town one weekend out of the whole year, pretty much, where we have probably too many people in town, but y'all seem to have them quite often. Norma says, I saw your demo and thought the way you showed wrapping the thread around your fingers was easier to follow than others I've seen. Thank you. I tried to make it easy because, that's one thing about me, is that I'm very, I don't know what the word is, what the nice word is for it, but I try to think about things like, if I were going to reproduce this myself, what is a way that I could show someone easily, that it would be easy for them to reproduce, because you can get very complicated, like I said, with things. But I worked through it to try to figure out, because you can say, oh, you tie this kind of knot, but I don't know the names of knots very well myself. And so when you start talking about the names of knots, if somebody doesn't know the name of a knot, immediately you are, kind of casting that person aside. Now, some people may look at it and be like, well, that's this kind of knot. Why didn't you just say that? But that's not my way. And so I feel like you start with the most basic, and I think that's the most basic way to do it. It makes sense. It's something that's easily done without a lot of tools. Like I said in the video, you could do that with your fingers. My hands are fairly large and my fingers are semi-large, so I have a hard time walking the knot down close enough to the bead with just my fingers. So that's why I took that little tool to do it. You could use a pencil, you could use, a lot of different things that you have around to make that happen, and it would be fine. So I like to try to figure out what is the way that we can reproduce this. And that's what I tried to do on that, is let me find a way that it works every single time I do it, and what's gonna be easiest to teach. And that's the thing for me, is when I'm teaching something, I try to break it down into steps that are easily teachable. And I think that's important, because like I said, there are many different ways that you can teach that. And for some people, those other ways may be better, but I always try and break it down to the basics if I can. Let's see here. Anna says, I'm going to the doctor Wednesday. Last time it was urgent care. Well, let's not wait till urgent care, Anna, please. I hope you make it on Wednesday. And I hope you get better. I want you to get better. We all want you to get better. Donna says, I have that knotting tool and I can't use it. Yeah, the knotting tool, I got really good at using the knotting tool for the most part. But it is exceptionally pointy and sharp. So I ended up, there are many times that I have brought blood to the surface using that knotting tool. Because it has a point that allows you to, like I said, the same thing I use that tool for is to slip the knot and try and get it close enough to the bead. And you can do it really well because it comes to a very fine point. But I have poked myself many times with that point as well. Norma says, I spent Saturday going to a couple indie bookstores. One visit involved a 25-mile drive through the horse farms to a really cute small town. So that was delightful. Oh, good. I'm glad you went to that one, because you were talking about maybe going to that one if you decided to take the drive. I'm glad you did. My mom came to visit me on Saturday as well. So I was doing the pearl knotting and kind of practicing that. And then my mom came in and we hung out for actually all of the day. From the moment she came in, we even stayed a little bit late and just chatted and caught up with each other a little bit. And that was nice. My mom and I are very much into kind of, talking about, the things that we used to talk about that no longer, that we realize no longer suit us, or no longer, stories we used to tell, I guess. We always used to grow up, and whenever anything went bad in our house, we would say, oh, it's the Jones family curse. And that kind of, talking about that kind of mentality and how that, carries on into your whole life, starting that at a young age, and how starting those kind of things, and talk about money. We never had a lot of money, and so we would always talk about how money was hard to get and you had to work hard to make money. Money didn't come easily. And when you look out into the world, that is not the case for everyone, right? Some people, money comes to very easily. But we always made it that it was this hard thing to make money. It's very hard to make money. You have to work really hard. You have to work long hours. You have to be tired at the end of your day. You have to be exhausted, and you have to get up and do it again. And that's the kind of mentality. And my mom, when she was growing up, things were even harder for her family. My grandfather sometimes shot, a groundhog, and that was their dinner. She talks about, like, she would go into school and say, well, we ate pheasant and potatoes last night, and she would get made fun of. Now, if you said you ate pheasant and potatoes, it sounds very fancy, but sometimes it was groundhog and potatoes, In the end, my grandparents ended up doing pretty well for themselves, but it was through a lot of hard work. And um, that was something that carried on. So we talk about this when we get together about why do we have these things, and kind of opening up about, like recently we've been opening up about how that kind of talk isn't productive and isn't true. Because like I said, some people attract money very easily. Some people attract good luck very easily. It's not, there's not this curse. It's all this mindset stuff. And so we got into it pretty deep on Saturday. It was pretty interesting, and we had a lot of fun talking, I think, and I did anyway. And then after she left, I went over to Craftwork Studios in Johnstown. They were having an open house, and we're working on getting some classes together with them. We've been working on this for a while, but their time slots aren't matching up with our time slots. So I had to go down there, and I wanted to talk face to face with them. And they're open to opening up some different time slots for us. So I got to work on some projects. I don't know what we're going to do, but I got to work on some projects so that we can teach down there. Hello, Susie. Thanks for joining us. Susan says, I hate that tool. the pearl knotting tool, it is a danger sometimes. I will say that. Hello, Kimberly. Thanks for joining us. Kimberly says, I saw your demo. I love knotting. Just made a memory wire bracelet with a luxury bead mix. Nice. Thank you. That's awesome. Donna says, I sold my knotted fluorite set that was all from an AG kit. Awesome. Knotting is in the air, right? Anna says, your way, William, is very approachable. Thank you. Kimberly says, other than a square hitch barrel and overhand, I have no clue. I use tweezers or a top awl. The tool I was actually using is, if you look at it very closely, is a bead reamer. So that is probably not the best thing to be using on silk because it's a little bit gritty, but this one is very worn out. So there's not a lot of grit left, and so it worked pretty well. But that just goes to show you, I didn't know if anyone was going to call me out on that and be like, you're using a reamer. That's probably not the best thing. But no one did. I don't think anyone noticed, or if they did, they didn't say anything. But it just goes to show you, like I said, you can use a lot of different things. And we are all about using what you've got as much as you can here at Allegory Gallery. That's how we started our store. That's how we try to get people into the hobby without having to fork out a lot of money to start. And you try and use what you've got if you can. Donna says, I have a tool like the one you used in the video. Yeah, just a bead reamer, but you can. Yeah, I don't know the names of knots very well at all. We had one teacher in Ligonier here who she was very into the knots, and she could tell you, it's like, oh yeah, that's this knot, that's this knot. And she would explain that to people, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know if they know what that means. But I was just never good at remembering what kind of knot is what kind of knot. Michelle is here. Hello, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. Anna says, yeah, that's not a productive way of talking. That's the American work ethic. Yeah, it's the, it is that. But I also think it is largely based, I think, in poorer and middle class or lower middle class communities where we are told that you have to work hard and you have to struggle for what you've got. And, I will say we still work very hard. But I am trying to manifest easier ways of doing things and easier ways of surviving and growing and blooming and all of that. So trying to get out of that old mentality that I still carry from childhood, that things have to be hard to be useful or purposeful, or that only hard things can get you ahead. Julie says, what tool do we hate? Pearl knotting tools. Pearl knotting tools is what we're talking about. Susie's asking, is your weather okay, Cheryl? Seeing weather on the local news. I didn't know Cheryl's here. Didn't see Cheryl pop up yet. Donna says, yep, that's what mine is, a bead reamer. Yeah, you can use that. My bead reamer is pretty reamed out. So there's not a lot of grit on there still. So that doesn't interfere or try to, because I'm using silk string. So the silk could possibly shred if you used a brand new nice reamer. But that's what I used and it worked well. Kimberly says, I noticed it was a reamer, but also looked to be on the smoother side. Use what you have on hand and what works for you. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, I could have easily also used, like, those. That would have worked just fine, too. Probably should have, would have made more sense. But, hey, it works. And I got a demo out of it, and almost 800 some people, I think, watched it on YouTube, at least so far. So that was good. It took off. YouTube does this thing where it audits your views. And so when I first put that video on YouTube, it had over 1,100 views. And that was within the first 20 minutes. I was amazed. I'm like, we have never gotten anything that took off like this. And I was like, yes, it's going to keep going. It's going to be great. And then over the course of that evening, as I rechecked it, the views counts kept going down and down and down. And I'm like, what is this doing? So I had to research that. And so they audit out views that they think aren't real. I don't know why we'd have fake views. We don't have enough people to have that many fake views, but anyway, that's what they do. So it went from 1,100 some views in 20 minutes down to resting around, I don't know if it's 750 or 800 something right now. So that kind of took some of the excitement away for me. I thought, ooh, this is great. This is going to go a little viral for us, that people might actually see this one. And then they cut it down. But hey. Suzanne says, I have a beating all. That would work, right? Let's see here. Julie says, learning a good work ethic will serve everyone well. Yes, it will. I believe that. But I also don't think that you have to grow up thinking that everything has to be hard to be profitable, because you can easily look around and see some people, things are not hard at all, and they still make it in life and they do quite well. Yeah, so it's all these things from, things you're told as a kid sometimes that get stuck in your mind and sometimes hold you back. And that's what we were my mom and I were talking about. Kimberly says, oh, I've used chain nose and round nose, especially when my son took my knotting tweezers for his entomology projects. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. I was looking for tweezers. I could not find my tweezers, so that's why I went to the bead reamer. So yeah, that was my weekend. Andrew is having a good time. I've barely heard from Andrew, to be 100% honest. He did the live the one day, and I saw that after he did it. I didn't even know he was doing that. But he barely has a lot of cell service down there or internet at all. The storms that came through ruined a lot of that, and they've not got that infrastructure built out yet again. So he only has service kind of close to the one building that he's in sometimes. And so I'll get messages through him throughout the day. And so far, every message or every call he's tried to make has been when I've not been around my phone, or I've been doing something else that I've not been able to. Well, I've not actually seen the call come up or the text message pop up until later. So I've always been involved in something else or not around my phone. So, but he's having a good time as far as I know. His classes started late at I think 9 p.m. last night. And I think that was kind of an orientation thing. And then his class started, I think, in full force today. So he'll have his classes through Friday. And he got himself sunburned. He sent me a picture today at one point of his sunburn. He had sunscreen on, but I guess he didn't reapply. And he's not used to that southern sun. which is much stronger than it is here right now. Even though today was warm, but that southern sun right now is much warmer. Donna says, yeah, I know where Andrew is at, and even without the hurricane destruction, cell service was still very spotty. I'm sure it was. He's in the middle of the mountains. I looked at the road that he has to drive to get there, and there's this one point as you near the campus that on the map, the road goes way down and way up and way down and way back up. And then finally you get to the campus and you're like, why wouldn't they just go like that? But I'm sure it's because the mountains are so big through there or hard to cross through there that they've made these long, because there's nothing along the road that's visible that does that, but the road loops like that through. There's no little towns, or it just does that. And so I'm like, he's in the mountains. And if you've seen some of the pictures and videos that he showed, he's up there in the mountains. Donna says, yep, it's because of the mountains. Yeah, he's very much in the mountains right now. But it looks beautiful and it sounds beautiful. You can hear all these crickets in the fields and the cicadas or whatever they are. I don't know what all, but he just had a video at one point. It was just like all this beautiful nature and nature sounds. So he is doing that. And we'll see if I hear from him. Probably not, because he's been going back to his, I don't think he has service where he's sleeping. So by the time he leaves campus and gets back there, I'm doing the live, and then he doesn't have service after that. So I hear from him in the morning. Usually in the morning, I think before his class. Sometimes in the afternoon, he's probably getting lunch. And then sometimes before, like I'll get a text, before the live is over, but maybe we'll see. He might pop on. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, he's up there in the mountains. And so that's that. That's what's been going on here. Had a great weekend with people coming in for classes. I still have to share some of the photos. I took some photos. The people on Sunday, we got to talking so much that I totally forgot to take photos. So we took a selfie at the end. They were wearing their necklaces that they made. So you can't really see them that well, but we at least got a photo together. So that was nice. And it was so nice to have people in the store and have the store feeling like a class space again, and in a place where people come to learn. And they actually traveled from Pittsburgh, which was really nice of them to come down from Pittsburgh and come into the store for a class. So we appreciate that so much. So yeah, that's what's been going on. Andrew still has artwork available. Some of these paintings are still available if you'd like to grab any. They're on his Facebook timeline, and we shared them on our Facebook timeline. I haven't picked out all the ones here that have been sold yet. I need to go through them. But these are available, and Andrew did condense them into one post of all the ones that are still available. So if you've not checked that out, he does have a post there that you can check out just the ones that are available. I did some packing and shipping today, so some people probably saw some notifications for orders going out. So thank you all so much for that. I will be doing, of course, that every day. That's like my everyday thing. Other than Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't ship on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because I'm at up at the shop. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I spend my days mostly packing and shipping things. And when I have a little bit of time, when I'm not packing and shipping, I am adding things to the online store and all that. So I will probably start hosting a D-Stash tomorrow night. I was thinking about doing that tonight, but I didn't get enough stuff together. I hit a time vortex today, and the time disappeared. I was almost late to this. I was going to do this live from up at the cottage, but the cottage kept losing power. It kept blinking. So I figured that's probably not great for trying to do the live. So I quickly ran home and almost was late, but I made it home in time to get this started. But I will probably start a D-Stash tomorrow night with some stuff. So stay tuned for that for those of you who prefer the photos instead of the video like this. And I'm going to try and put up a thing to let people know that it's happening. And that's been my day. What am I going to have for dinner? Oh, I picked up, so we have a lot of potatoes, and we've not been eating our potatoes, and they're going to start growing. Some of them have started growing a little bit, so I got to cut them away. But I think I'm going to make baked potatoes. I'm going to cut them up, though. Cut them up, put them in some oil and some salt, and throw them in the oven and bake them in the oven. And then I picked up some cheese and sour cream and salsa and butter. And I might just make baked potatoes too. I don't know. But I think I'm going to cut them up. And I'm going to make potato pieces with all the dressings, sour cream, butter, salsa, and just kind of like hang out and eat potatoes tonight. So that's that. What did everybody else eat today? What y'all else? What did I have for lunch? Did I have lunch? I had cereal this morning. So I did have some cereal. I don't think I ate lunch today. How about that? I had some cookies. I stopped home and I took a walk today. Because I felt like I needed to go on a little walk and just kind of decompress a little bit between shipping and the live here. So I took a little walk and walked about 1.25 miles or so around town, And then I think after that I came home and let Barnaby out a little bit. We went outside with the cats. I went outside with the cats a little bit today, and I had some cookies. I think that was my only lunch. That's terrible. I've been trying to eat better, eat more often. At least I had some breakfast today. But, geez. Hello, Susan. Thanks for joining us. Let's see here. Suzanne says, sounds great. Julie says, yum. Salad and leftover cheese-baked spaghetti, says Susan. Ooh, that sounds good. Norma had a taco salad for dinner. Oh, I miss a taco salad. I used to love taco salads, and with beef, like taco filling, taco salads. And I've not had a good one since we've gone vegetarian. And I don't know why, because I could buy the fake beef and do it up and have a good taco salad, probably just as good as anything else. But we used to go to this particular place over where I used to work before it burned down, and they did a really good taco salad, and I miss it. I do miss it. Norma says, Susan, I love cheese-baked spaghetti. Susan's starting to feel a smidgen better, but now my hubs has the creeping crud. Oh, no. I was just going to ask how you were feeling. Anna's still not feeling great either. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. Sarah's here. Hello, Sarah. Says, shrimp tacos. Ooh, I miss shrimp. That's one thing I do miss a lot. Every time shrimp comes up, I feel like I talk about this, but I used to go to the grocery store, which is not the best place to do it probably, but I would get those frozen party platters of shrimp, sometimes the little ones, sometimes the big ones, like the frozen party platter of cocktail shrimp and the cocktail sauce. And I would warm those up and sometimes not warm them up, because some of them are meant to be warmed up. Some of them you don't have to. Whatever happened, happened. But I would eat those myself. I do miss some shrimp. I also miss pepperoni. That's another thing I do miss. Dominion's here says, so cute with that kitty on your shirt. That's our pins. This pin has gone through the washer and dryer, I think 2 or 3 times. And so You know, I didn't mean to stress test our pins, but I have stress tested them, and it has survived 2 or 3 washings and dryings, and it still glows in the dark, so it's a really good acrylic too. But thank you. Yeah, these are the pins that we sell in our online store. They're $14, and they're out of the Shadow Play creatures that Andrew made. They are still available out there, and they apparently stand up to lots of rough and tumble too. Sue says we use beans in our taco salads. Yes, I use beans too in tacos and that stuff, but there's just something about the beef crumble with the spices and the, but I could probably get pretty close with the fake beef, the faux beef. Donna says, I sat outside for a bit and enjoyed some ice water, had cereal, fresh strawberries for lunch, and a salad with chicken, avocado, tomatoes, lettuce, salad dressing, and cheese. That sounds really good. Donna says, that sounds delicious. Susan says, Anna, I hope you're feeling better soon. This bug is no fun. Donna says, I love shrimp boiled, fried, and baked in any way you fix it. Me too. Me too. One of my favorite things when I was in New York after the clubs, we would go out, of course, with my friends, and then there was this place called the Renaissance Diner in Hell's Kitchen. I think it was in Hell's Kitchen because that's where my friend lived, and we would often end up there. And I don't know if it's still there or not, but they were a 24-hour place, and every time after we were out at the club, we would go, well, anytime we went there, I would order coconut fried shrimp, and they had a wonderful sauce. I don't know what it was, but it was delicious. It was like a yellow kind of, probably a saffron because it had a little bit of orange in it. It was really good. And then chicken rolantini was my other thing that I got, which was chicken with, they had, I think, chicken with prosciutto rolled up in it. I got fancy after the club, apparently. But that's what I ordered almost every single time. Chicken rolantini and the coconut fried shrimp. And it was delicious, and I miss it. I miss both of those things because they were so good. And I think, I had them when I wasn't coming home from the club, so I know they were good anyway. But after dancing all night, drinking and dancing, because back then I drank and I danced a lot, probably too much of both maybe. But I also would just like pig out on that food. It was so good. Susan says, we're a pair parked in front of the TV with our tissue boxes. Oh no. My mom was starting to get a little bit of a sore throat when she came to visit me. So she's like, stay away, don't get too close. And she's feeding me these vitamin C drops. But neither one of us ended up getting anything. Hers never fully developed. And I definitely didn't get it, thankfully. Sarah says, I love coconut shrimp. Sometimes it's a mango sauce. This was not mango, but it might have been something like that. It might have been some kind of fruit sauce. I don't think it was mango. I think I would have been able, maybe, but I think it was something else. But it was delicious. It was a little bit spicy. It was so good. Angela says, hello, everyone. Brilliant sunset here. I don't know what the sunset was like here, but it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Donna says, OMG, that sounds so delicious. I love coconut shrimp. I know, I miss it. I do miss that. But I'm not going back. I'm not going back. All right, y'all. Let's flip this camera around and let's take a look at some beautiful beads that we've got for you tonight. I hope you like them. If you'd like to claim anything from this video, this is how we do it. We're going to give you a slip of paper. It's going to have a lot number on it. You take down the lot number. They're MN lots tonight. MN lot numbers. You take down that lot number, you put it in the subject line of an email, you send that email to info@allegorygallery.com, and if you get it, it's yours. It's first come, first serve. Send a new email every time. Please do not reply to an old email or something like that to send a new one, because that gets everything all gunked up. We don't want that happening. Not at all. No, what it does is it collates things in our email, and then you miss out. So we don't want you to miss out, or possibly miss out. All right. Sarah says, I love anything with coconut. Me too. I do love coconut. I do love me some coconut. Thank you all out there. If you're out there, we appreciate you hanging out with us. So Andrew just messaged me a little bit ago and said his class is good. It's hard with work study. There's not a lot of downtime, but he's having a good time. Says he got to meet cool people through work study that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. So that's good. He's having a good time. Give you all the update, right? All right. This is MN1. These are beautiful malachite rounds. MN1. Come on. They're still kind of. This one isn't. There we go. They were kind of together. They've come apart. Beautiful malachite rounds. Let me move this. I feel like this light does better when I'm over here. And let me move this down a little bit more. Get a little bit more intimate here. There we go. Beautiful malachite rounds. And there are 3 of these strands available. They're $10 each. MN1 is the first one tonight. Let me go over and get my email going. There we go. And these are 4mm malachite rounds. And the strands themselves are about 15-inch strands. They go to 7.5 twice. 15-inch strands, malachite rounds. Kimberly says, so pretty. They really, really are. I love malachite. I once, when I was young, I started getting into playing chess. And we didn't have a lot of money, so I did chores and I saved up some money, and there was this cute little small business along one of the roads it's still near here, near where I grew up. And they had a little country store, and there was this hand-carved chess set, and it was marked as a malachite chess set. I will just say that years later, I found out that's not what malachite. This was before the internet, y'all, or at least before we had the internet where we were, because we were in the country. But it was marked malachite, and so for all these years, I said, "Oh, I have this malachite chess set, and then learned it was not malachite. It was probably an agate of some sort, but it was a hand-carved agate chess set. And I kept that chess set. I still have that chess. I think it's still downstairs somewhere. But over the years, some of the pieces have toppled from being, like it got left set up. It was also backgammon and chess. And over the years, some of the pieces got knocked over and they got, they broke. But I still have that chess set. But it was one of those things, like, as a kid, I didn't continue with chess. It wasn't something that I stayed up with. Not a lot of people around me even played, so I think that's one of the reasons not many people I could get to actually play. But I just loved that chess set, and like I said, I still have it to this day. But So ever since then, malachite has been something that, you know, I kind of fell in love with just because it has that relationship to that, even though that's actually not what it ended up being. But in my mind, once I learned what malachite was, plus it's green, it just had a good relation to me. Just, it's something that I think it just feels good. I like malachite a lot. We've sold one of those. Thank you so much. MN2. We had this at 60. I'm going to drop it down to $50. If anybody wants it, $50. It's a really good price. If it was 60, that was already a really good price. But these are some beautiful freshwater vintage pearls. This is like a mega strand of beautiful pearls. Vintage freshwater peacock pearls. These are big. The pearls themselves are chunky. These are 9 millimeters. They're like giant peanut pearls by 16. They're not all like peanuts. That one happens to be. But these are amazing vintage peacock pearls. Big in size. Beautiful. Oh no. Oh no. I thought that was coming off the end. I was like, oh no. And this is a 16-inch strand, MN2, of these lovely large peacock pearls. $50 for the strand, down from 60. One strand available. For this size and the quality, that's a really good deal. There's some rough spots in some of these, but that's taken into account. Like that one. That one's got a little rough spot on it. Beautiful strand of pearls. Big pearls for that amount of money. I will say that. MN2. Oh, I was talking with the other thing I've been doing is going back and forth with StreamYard, the people who do our streaming, and asking why I can't get rid of this thing. I showed in the Design Challenges group what I kept talking about, because I kept mentioning it over and over again the other night, because it's just been getting on my nerves. And I kept mentioning it, and I wanted to show you what kind of issue we're having trying to see your comments. And the first thing they told me is, we understand that getting started streaming may be difficult, so here's a help article to get you started. And I'm like, we've been streaming with you for 3 years every single weekday. I don't think we're just getting started. So I wrote them back and pretty much said that, and said, I think we have a good solid foundation on how to stream. What we'd like to know is why you're cluttering up your user interface with this thing that we can't get rid of. And so, of course, they didn't write back over the weekend because they weren't doing anything. These are 12 to 13-inch strands of Peruvian opal. Beautiful opal in this kind of ombre palette, ombre strands. There are 2 of these available. These are faceted bicones, just about, let's see, 3.5 millimeters. 2 of them left, only $15 a strand. $15 a strand, Peruvian opal. And so today they wrote me back and they said, oh, you can go into your settings and you can turn it off. And I wrote them back and said, well, I've already done that, and that setting is only to turn off the link when we share our videos, not the actual place on the display where the comments are. So can you again please tell me how I can turn off this large button that pops up to turn off this referral notice? So they've not gotten back to me yet, and I'm getting a little I'm getting a little snarkier, I think, every time they write me back with something that's wrong. Because I'm like, do you not know your own streaming? Do you not know how this works? I obviously went into the settings and turned off every setting I already could. Um, do you not know how to help me? So I have a tendency sometimes, I know I may not seem like it, but when it comes to technology, I get a little snarky with people because like companies that they're supposed to know, how to do things. It's their user interface. It used to be fine. They didn't do this until about a few weeks ago. And they're making their software very difficult to use. Okay, anyway, enough of that. These used to be $12 each. I'm pricing them at $8 each for you. These are beautiful turquoise. Oh, we sold one of the Peruvian opal strands as well. Thank you. This is Hubei turquoise from the Hubei mines in China. And it's beautiful. I love Hubei turquoise because it's got these beautiful large kind of patterns of color oftentimes, and sometimes comes in these beautiful, like this particular one has some of the green, the brown green kind of color, as well as the bright kind of turquoise blue that you expect. So these are various sized, but like this is kind of a middle size, I'd say. This one is about 24 by 25 and a half or so. And there are 4 of these available. We're selling them individually. They're $8 each. I should make sure that that's $8 each. And you're seeing all 4 of them here. So there you go. You can kind of pick if you want to send me an email, if you want a larger one or a smaller one. Like these are the 2 larger and these are the 2 smaller. But we just averaged it out to $8. Hello, Dale. Thanks for joining us. Dale joined us in the middle of my complaining again about our streaming service. So anyway, enough about all that. But if you were following up that, because I posted in the Design Challenge group and a lot of people there were like, that is a little bit much. And so the saga continues. The saga continues with our streaming service to try and get them to make sense of what they're doing. We sold another one of the MN1s. That's the malachite. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Oops, that's not, I just said 1 and I wrote 2 because that's what was on my mind. MN5 we're on right now. MN5. This is beautiful. I'm going to do this. We have tried to sell this one before at $14, which is a really good price, but I'm going to drop it to $12, one time only. We never usually drop these, but this is this beautiful fuchsia S-word crystal faceted square strand, 2, 4, 6 of them on the strand, S-word crystal in fuchsia. I think that's the color. Yes, fuchsia. 8mm cube, I think. That's what the tag says. Yep, 8mm cube. MN5. Juicy, says Anna, right? They are juicy. They are juicy. So there you have it. Drop the price down to $12, one time only. If somebody wants it, take it at that. Otherwise, it's going back to $14. And this has been shown enough times that it will probably go onto the website for sale. Maybe the D-Stash. I might run it through the D-Stash one time. Super sparkle, says Kimberly, right? Might run it through the D-Stash, but it's soon gonna see the website, I think, and offer it to, because it's like different people out there watching our website more. Some of y'all buy from the website, but a lot of y'all just grab it on the live. So MN5, and that has sold. Thank you so much. So you just had to take that price down a little bit. Or maybe that's the first time somebody's seen it. That's the other thing too. I know not everyone sees everything. Angela says beautiful. It is. It is. Okay, this we did at 24 before. I'm going to drop it down to 22. I can't go much lower than that. That's a hard one to go down to. These are these. Whoa! It's a long strand. I didn't remember it being so long. It's a long strand of these copper spacers. And they're these large hole, bumpy copper spacers. I don't know if they were silver plated, because there's some, I don't know what that is. Maybe they were copper plated, because I'm just noticing that on these. It's kind of cool, or if it's just tarnishing. I can't tell. My eyes, I've gotten to that point where my eyes up close, not so great anymore. Not so great. But anyway, this is a beautiful strand of large hole spacers. And this strand is about 14 inches. And it's a neat patina. Yeah, it has to be some kind of patina on there. I don't know what they did or what they're doing, if it's age or what's happening. It looks tarnishy. That's what I'm thinking, which is kind of cool. I kind of like it, but they're really cool copper bumply spacers anyway. And if you're working with mixed metal, there you go. I think it looks even better that way. But these are about 5 millimeters. And let me see if I can get you a width on these. About 3 millimeters. Whoa! Light down. Beachy, says Kimberly. Hey, could be. Super cool. $22. That's a 2, not a 7. I didn't go from 24 to 27. $22. One strand available. MN6. For those of you who like the odd copper spacers, this is a nice vintage strand. Probably never see those again. I've never seen them since. Up until this point, that's the first of that shape and style I've seen. These were 36. Just dropping this price down, right on down. This is one of these box clasps. This is a peridot box clasp in sterling. You can see stamped 925. Sterling silver box clasp with a peridot stone, gemstone in there. This one is still very shiny. It was packed in a little bag for a long time. So it's still quite shiny. It hasn't patinaed much. MN7 was $36. We normally sell them around that. Box clasp with a peridot down to $25. One of these available. MN7. This is 9.5 millimeters by about 21 overall. I know some of y'all love these. Last one I think we've got. We keep finding these, but there's going to come a time when we're never going to find any more, because these are vintage. They're vintage and possibly antique at this point. And, we have some, and Andrew has some in his stash, and we keep pulling from there. But at some point, we're going to run out, and that might be it. I know we had a number of the peridot ones for a while. And we even put them on Etsy and stuff back then. Kimberly says, love it, right? We used to put them on Etsy, and they used to sell really well out there on Etsy. But we don't have Etsy anymore. We're still on Etsy, We have like one product, I think, out there to keep our listings active, but we don't actually take sales through there anymore. We just use it to direct people to our website. Too many fees and stuff. So these are beautiful little silver tone clasps. I think they're fine pewter, but or toggles, I should say. And they go like that, right? And it comes up and locks back down. But they're cute, little flowers and their stems. And there are 2 of them available. And they're only $3 each. Nice little toggle. $3 each, MN8. So anybody watching any new shows? While Andrew's away, I watch the shows that he doesn't like to watch. So what did I watch the other night? Papa's House. Have you ever seen that? I watch the comedies generally, like kind of comedy sitcoms, because he doesn't like that. And so I get a chance to watch that stuff when he's not here. And I watched Papa's House, and that's with hold on, I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. It doesn't always work. This was 24. I'm gonna take it down to 18 tonight for y'all. Oh, and now what is going on with my computer? Things are not working. Oh, I think it was trying to pull an email. MN8s have sold multiple times. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. So Papa's House, Susie says it's on TV now. Papa's House, that's with the Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. And it was I thought it was pretty funny. I liked it. It was entertaining. It was an easy watch, and that's sometimes all I want is at night is something easy to watch. But I just learned apparently it's been canceled after 1 season, so there's that. These are lampwork glass, and these were $24 for the whole strand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads on that strand, down to $18. $3 a bead. $3 a bead. Kimberly says, love these lampwork beads. Aren't they beautiful? I love them particularly because they have these kind of black wavy swirls through them. Like they've got the beautiful colors, but then they've also got that extra little bit of something, and that's what really makes them, I think, special to me. I like these because of that, those kind of wild little stringer lines going through each one. So I think that's just cool. Susan says, we watched the first episode of David Frost's series on MSNBC. It concerned the interviews he did with the Beatles. It was interesting. Nice. And so I watched that, and then I have moved on. Oh, this one has sold. Thank you so much. I moved on to watching, what did I watch? What did I watch last night? I started watching something else. Oh, I watched some Ghosts. I love Ghosts and The Neighborhood. All these sitcoms, kind of, that I watch. But I started into, I'm not going to remember their names now. It's, it'll come to me. So there was, Jeez. Now I gotta look it up because it's gonna make me. So there was The Big Bang Theory, and I used to love that, but I never watched it the whole way through. And then there was Young Sheldon, right? So there's Young Sheldon, and I used to watch that quite a bit. These were 20. I have to keep them at 20. Kimberly says, blue, pink, lime, snake-like design. Yes, please. I know, right? So I used to watch Young Sheldon. I don't think I've watched the last series of Young Sheldon, or the last season. These are Jonquil, S-word crystal, bicones, and they are, you get the whole gross of them. There's should be 144 in there. They're 4mm bicones in the Jonquil color, and they are $20 for the whole gross. So then the next spinoff is Georgie and Mandy's first wedding, or first marriage. First wedding or first marriage? First marriage. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. So I started watching Georgie and Mandy's first marriage last night. And these are all things that I would not convince Andrew to watch. So I watched them while he's away. Anybody else watching anything good? Mine is kind of that junk TV. I it's not something I necessarily recommend people have to watch, but it's easy to watch. And sometimes after my days, I just want something that's super easy to watch. These are $6. It's this lot of these beautiful beads. They are drilled this way. And you get the whole lot of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8. I think 28, if I counted right. 28 of them. These are 10mm beads by about 4mm. Kimberly says, I'm not really into TV shows much anymore. What do you do? No, I get it. I totally get it. This is MN11. You get this whole lot of these beautiful little glass beads. MN11. Now like I said, I also work at night. So some of these things that I put on, like I totally sometimes zone completely out and realize I've not hardly seen the episode at all. MN11 just sold. Thank you so much. I've not seen the episode at all, and I'll have to rewatch the whole thing. Or sometimes I just keep going and be like, I'll come back to it. I never do. I never come back to it, but I threaten to. Did a really good price on these at one point. These were $6. I'm going to leave them at $6. Kim says, I will listen to Bones over and over, but that's about it. I used to like Bones a lot, but I never watched, I would watch it when I saw it, when it came, but I don't think I've ever watched it like through. But I did like it. Donna says, I have up paying for a viewing. I don't know what that means. Paying for a viewing? Susan says, I find all the different streaming platforms confusing and expensive. Yes, I will agree with that. This is MN12. These are quartz, just little quartz chips. Really nice quality quartz chips, very clear. These are vintage strands. Beautiful quartz chips. There are 2 of them available. They're only $6 each, and they are 16-inch strands. 16-inch strands. Kimberly says, I watch it mostly for the jewelry. It's all gorgeous. I think we were talking about that on the live one time, right? The nice jewelry on Bones. I think Andrew was talking about that he noticed that too. He notices jewelry. You think I would too, but I don't notice it as much. MN12. One of these is sold. Thank you so much. There's still one available. I'm not good at noticing that kind of stuff. I'm trying to get better about it. But like I said, TV's my zone out thing. I shut my brain down a lot of times when the TV comes on for that reason. If I'm just watching. He says, yes, we have talked about that in the past. I thought so. I'm surprised I remembered that, but I did. Go me. All right, this is a little kit that Andrew put together. Still hasn't sold. I'm still not taking the price down any more than that, though. Because this is well worth it. We've sold out on some of these beads already. Like these, completely sold out of, other than in this kit. We sold these individually, and I love these. I made some earrings out of these at the store. I think they're super cool. And so you get 4 of those. You get these awesome, those I believe are vintage Czech or vintage German. These are vintage Czech. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. And they're just such a cool, twisted, and kind of faceted, or I don't know what, pinched kind of shape. It's like somebody pinched them first and then twisted them. And you get this awesome shape out of them. And then this, I believe, is an onyx strand. I believe this is onyx. It could be obsidian, but I believe, if I remember correctly, Andrew said these were onyx. MN13, and this is a long strand of these. This is a 16-inch strand of those. So you get all of that for $20. 20 bucks. Still available. These strands, by the way, these faceted squares are just about 8 millimeters. 8 millimeter faceted squares. These beads are approximately 8 by 33, and these ones are approximately let's say 14 by 17. MN13. One little kit mix available. $20. I'll have to check out that that David Frost series with the Beatles, because that would be interesting to me. Donna says, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, your lives when I can, and I have lots of DVDs. Sorry, I typoed that too fast, or I typed that too fast. Plus, I love to read and make jewelry. I loved Bones, says Donna. Yeah, I do watch a lot on YouTube too. Sometimes I just put on YouTube. When Andrew is not ready to relax in the evening, when he's like sometimes he relaxes and kind of calls it a night, and sometimes he's getting ready to actually start really doing his work. It depends how the day has gone, and usually he's going to do his work anyway, but sometimes he wants some relaxation time before that. Sometimes he wants to get kind of hyped up. So when he wants to get hyped up, we end up oftentimes watching YouTube videos about craft of some sort. And lately we've been watching stuff about casting. Let's see here. Student says, I like Melissa Murray's The Legal Scholar Statement Necklace and Jill Weinbank's brooches. I don't know what those are. Andrew probably would. I do not. I do not. Oops, I totally forgot to put those in the bag. Okay. back in the bag you go. This is beautiful, beautiful emerald green dyed chalcedony, vintage strand. It was 32. Let's make it 26 today. Only one of those available. Donna says, I watch YouTube videos about thrifters that go to Goodwill. Nice. Our friend, do you watch Sonia? Sonia Miller? She often goes to Goodwill and grabs stuff. She used to do lots of YouTube videos about those. They're the ones who did Junk Monkey Paint originally. And now they have Cauldron and Thorn up in Erie. She does a lot of painting. But she also does thrifting too, which I like watching her thrifting videos. These are gorgeous drops, faceted drops of dyed chalcedony in this emerald green color. They call it emerald green color. It's a little bit lighter, I think, than an emerald green to me. But 8-inch strand, MN14, and these are approximately 7.7 by, they're usually about the same. I can grab a hold of one here. Yeah, about 7.5 by 7.5. Seven and a half by 7.5, MN14. One of my friends just started writing a book series that he has researched a bunch of he researches a bunch of like first contact stories that people talk about, and also ancient civilizations. And he has started writing a book series on based in partial fact, partial fiction about all this stuff. And I don't know what all it's about, but I knew them when I was in New York, and I'd met him and his wife, and they are such good people. I love them to death. And so he's giving away the prequel of his series on Amazon, and I'm going to read it. So I downloaded it to my Kindle, and that's going to be my next book. I figured I may as well help out a friend by reading their book and see how it goes. Donna says, no, I watch Crazy Lamp Lady and Flying Pig Thrifts. They live in Pennsylvania. I have no idea who those are, but I'll have to look them up. Donna says, oh, I would love to read those books. I love stories that revolve around history. This is lampwork glass. I'll let y'all know what I think of it if I get through it. Beautiful lampwork glass strand. It was 32. I'm bringing it down to 28. You can see right here that was 32 was the price. Bringing it down to 28 for you all. Beautiful strand. And I love these ones. They look like they're metallic on the outside, but then when you see them on the inside, they have that peekaboo through the glass. They're all a little bit like that. Not these ones. Those are pretty solid. But look how cool. I love lampwork glass so much. And these are such pretty, these are so my colors. This beautiful pink and purple, and with that metallic gray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 beads on there. So that's less than $2.80 a bead. Less than $2.80 a bead, which is great for lampwork glass. 14 millimeters is the largest one on there, and the smallest one on there is about 10. Kimberly says, oh wow, that's fabulous, right? Thank you. I think so too. And I think that's a great deal. It's a beautiful set. $28 only, one strand available. MN15. MN16. Also, my cousin is writing another book, and it should be coming up at some point. Sue says, love the color palette on MN15. Me too. My cousin asked me if I would read a draft of her book when she's finished, but I don't know how far she's gotten on it so far. These are dyed chalcedony. We had these 32. I'm going to bring this down to 26 for the strand. These are beautiful. Dyed chalcedony, faceted, simple cut stones in different colors. Really pretty. This is an 8-inch strand. And these stones vary in size. The smallest one here is 14 by 20 and a half. And the largest one, say, is this one by 27 by 35. MN16, $26. Dyed chalcedony. Beautiful. One strand left of that. MN16. Whoops, somebody's trying to get in my door. I haven't seen my cats much today. I've been a stranger a little bit. Norma says, I'm just fascinated by what people can do with lamp work. Having taken just one 2-day class and knowing how much work it is, I really appreciate it. Yes, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Suzanne says, a cat. Yes, one of my fur babies is trying to get in. These are bone spacer beads. Bone spacer beads. This is a 6-inch strand. Was $14. I'm taking it down to $10. About 14.5 millimeter rondelles. Call them rondelles, saucers. Bone spacer beads, or bone beads. You could use them just as a bead. It don't have to be a spacer, right? But beautiful bone beads. MN17, $10. I haven't seen my fur babies much today. MN17 has just sold. Thank you so much. I keep hearing this little tiny paw scratching at the door. Somebody's scratching at the door. All right. Don't tell Andrew. I'm giving this a slight discount. It's not much. 68 down to 62. But we've shown this one before. This is that really nice strand of these tourmaline top drilled tourmaline towers, we'll call them. I don't know what you call this shape necessarily. I can't, nothing else is coming to mind, but these are just beautiful tourmaline pieces. And this is an amazing, look at that indicolite right there. Ooh, 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 that blue one. And This is one of Andrew's private collection things. This is an 8-inch strand. And it was 68. I'm bringing it down to 62 one time only. Like I said, don't tell Andrew I even reduced the price, because he was very firm on that price before. But I'll give you a little extra if you want it. These are super cool. You don't see them like that very often these days. This is a vintage strand. And really nice quality tourmaline. One strand available. MN18, $62. Oh, let me give you the size on they do vary quite a bit. They're kind of graduated. So up here, they're about 5 millimeters long, and the longest one here in the center is about 11. Normally, I wish my budget could handle that tourmaline, right? It's worth it. I will say that. It's definitely worth that price. If we bought that from a supplier now, that's probably the price we would pay on a strand like this, to be 100% honest with you. So it's definitely worth it. MN18. $62. One night only. Otherwise, that'll probably, now that it's gone through and tried twice, that'll probably go back into Andrew's private collection if it doesn't sell. That's the kind of stuff he usually takes back. Boy, there's a lot in here. It was only $12, so I can't go any lower than that. MN19. Look at all those beads. Look at them all. $12 only. Beautiful glass. And these beads are approximately 8 millimeters. They do vary though. I feel like this one's bigger. 8.5. 8.2. So around 8 to 8.5 millimeter glass beads. These are MN19. $12 for all of them. There's the penny. It buried the penny. That's a lot of beads for $12. I could put those on a strand, probably sell shorty strands of those for a lot more in the end. Do something like that for like $4. MN19, and that one has sold, so I won't be doing that, but should you all wish to, you can definitely do that. You know, we always say it's not up to us what happens to the beads after we sell them. So if y'all repackage them and do what you want with them, use a few, sell off a few, trade a few. Sometimes it's a good way to enhance your stash by trading or repackaging. Sometimes you don't need a whole strand. We don't do strand splitting here. I wish we had the person power to be able to, you know, kind of do some of that stuff for y'all. If somebody wants to buy half and then the other person wants to buy half. But if you do that on your own, it can definitely be a good way to enhance the budget, right? Where are we at? MN20. Suzanne says Cinnamon is here, purring. I think it was Ida Bell was outside the door earlier. I don't think it was Barnaby. chrysocolla drops. Chrysocolla drops. Let me check something here. I don't think I have these in the online store. Do not. That's what I'm trying to see. These are marked chrysocolla drop, but they're a very light green for that. I feel like they're, I guess they could be. They're the very green part of the chrysocolla. There's not a lot of that kind of bluey green in there. That's what they're marked. So I'm going to do these for inexpensive. Oops, keep missing beads. Keep missing beads. $12. $12 only on these. They are approximately 11.5 by 6. 11.5 by 6. And that is a 16-inch strand chrysocolla drop. One strand available. Really pretty markings on these. Really pretty coloring. MN20. MN21. These are these vintage Czech roller beads in the multicolor style. These are 8-inch strands, Czech glass roller beads, glass pony beads. For those of you like, what's a roller bead? Glass pony beads from the Czech Republic, vintage Czech. One strand available, $6. And these are approximately 9 millimeter. They are all a little different. That one is like 8.5. This one is about 8. That one's 9. So you can see they're all different kind of sizes. They are vintage, so sometimes sizing was not able to be exact back then. But Czech glass, vintage Czech roller beads, MN21, $6 only. I was talking with somebody the other day, Suzanne, that they were they had just gone down to New Orleans, and I think it was actually, oh yeah, was it? I think it was the friend who came in to do some jewelry making with me. I lose track of things. But they had gone down and they had a good time. But they said some parts were definitely very, very busy, even on like just a regular night. But they had found a nice little bar with some jazz music and kind of hung out there. There's another strand of these vintage Czech glass roller beads in this beautiful deep blue, this cobalt blue glass and red. This is an opaque red, but there's a transparent blue in the cobalt. This strand is a little bit shorter, maybe. This is about 7-inch strand. MN22. And that is about 9, we'll say 9 millimeters. 9 millimeters on this. MN23. Suzanne says, lots of good places to hear good music. Yeah. Her husband isn't big into crowds, and it was more crowded than they thought it was going to be. And they found this off the beaten path, I guess, place, and they really liked it. Wow, we did this at $14? Okay, I can't go any lower than this. We had done this at $14 once. MN23. This is a whole lampwork glass strand of these pretty pastel colors. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 beads for $14. That's almost $1 a bead. Suzanne says, I'll post a picture of Jazz Fest crowds tomorrow. Boy. These are lampwork glass. Beautiful pastel beads, 11.5 millimeters. I can't believe we did this for $14, so I kept that for y'all. Kimberly says, OMG, those are amazing, right? $14? 12 beads? Lampwork glass. One strand available. Can't believe it. Can't believe it didn't sell the first time at $14. We'll see if it sells this time at $14. I can't go any lower than that. I can't go down to $1 a bead. Just a little bit over $1 a bead is that hurts enough. They're beautiful, beautiful beads. And they've sold. Thank you so much. That's a really good deal there. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure what stone that one is. It could be an apatite or it could be a green fluorite, and I'm not going to make that call tonight. So we're going to move on. Wow, that's a bigger strand than I thought it was. These are, if you like big beads, here we go. Can't go lower than that though. MN24 was $24. I'll take it down to $22, but look at that. Beautiful dyed agate, 16-inch strands. This is a beautiful dyed agate that's in blue and a brown and black. And it's got that crackle look to it. These are large faceted rounds. And these are about 18 millimeter beads. Really nice big beads. MN24. Only $22 for the strand. I love this strand. I really do. Now I'm going to leave this one here because I've got another one coming up. MN25. And I'm going to give you the same price on this one. Only this time, it's even more my favorite. It's even more my favorite because it's green. So check that one out. That minty, that's got that chocolate color with that green mint going. Dyed agate. Beautiful strands. So if you like the minty green or the cool blue, Kim says, wow, aren't they cool? I love these. I know some people have that, ooh, I don't do dyed stuff, but I do dyed stuff. As long as I know, as long as no one's trying to trick me, I have no problem with it. And look how beautiful those are. Each one of those beads is its own pendant. If you were making a series for a show, you could easily take each one of these beads, put them on a chain, and they'd be a nice little pendant on a chain. And you could just make a bunch of those real quick. And if you sold them, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 beads on that strand. 20 beads for $22. That's just like $1 a bead. Add in the cost of your chain. Say your chain costs you $2 or $3. That's a $4 or $5 necklace that you could easily sell for 12 to 15, 3 times markup. Good deal on that. You know, sometimes it's good to have those kind of things at shows that are just, you have multiples of them, they're quick to make, and they're just those kind of things that people can grab and go. You don't have to think too much if it's like, is this kind of my design or not? Is this my style? It's quartz on a chain. Or no, I'm sorry, agate on a chain. Easy. It's an easy choice. Do you like blue or you like green? We're talking about possibly getting into more shows, and if we do, those are the kind of things I'll be trying to make just as quick grab and go for people. What am I on? 26. 26. Now this is an expensive one. This is the lowest I can bring it down to. 96. Was 110. This is Ancient Carnelian. It was excavated in Mali. We had some of these mixed into, Andrew took one of these strands apart at one point and mixed them, and we did this in the D stash the other night. I had some of these. Susan says 24 reminds me of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Me too. Anna says I was thinking the same. My favorite. It is one of my favorites too. Mint chocolate chip is pretty much the ice cream I'm going to choose. This is Ancient Carnelian. Ancient Carnelian, excavated in Mali a long time ago, turned into these delicious looking beads, like just all the ranges of beautiful carnelian in here. This strand is a collector's strand. Like I said, we did a few, I think they were $18, and they had a few beads from a strand like this in each lot, maybe 4 or 5, and they were $18 or $24 a lot. I can't remember, and people loved them. This is your chance to own a whole strand for $96. Donna says that carnelian is stunning. Yes, and it's Ancient Carnelian, excavated in Mali. Look at these. I'll give you one more look at these. Obviously, I think there's something else in here and there, but mostly the Ancient Carnelian strand. And it is graduated. So these beads start at about 8.5 millimeters. And I'm going to go down to this one because this is the real carnelian here, down to about 13.5. And this strand is amazingly a 16-inch strand for $96. MN26. It's the lowest we've ever done on that. And that one probably is another one that we've tried one more time, and it will probably go back into Andrew's collection, because he has been rearranging his space at the cottage, and a lot of his African have been reabsorbed, and he put them back up on his wall as kind of a showpiece. Next one, MN27. MN27 is this vintage strand of check glass flowers. Vintage check glass flowers in all different colors. Beautiful kind of little buttons, flower buttons, or drops. About 8 millimeters, if I can get in here, by about 5.5. And this is a nice long strand. This is a 6-inch strand, and there's one available, $12. MN27. Love, love, love that strand. And that has sold. Thank you so much. MN28. These mother of pearl shell beads. I have 3 strands of these available. $12. $12. Beautiful mother of pearl strand. These are kind of a long, I don't know, they are all different. They are all different in as far as cuts go. But they're very beautiful. Some are wider, some are narrower. This one happens to be 5 millimeters by about 16.5. It's 14. But just really cool beads. And really nice quality, vintage quality. And these strands are, that's a 16-inch strand. Donna said, oh yeah, sorry, I read that comment. 16-inch strand, MN28. And let me show you one more of those. Pull out another one here to show you. They are all different. So this one has some larger beads. That one's drilled a little wonky. That happens sometimes, but they are only $12 strands. But I think really nice quality for $12 on those. MN28. Mother of pearl. $12 a strand, 3 strands available. MN29 coming up. This is a beautiful dyed chalcedony strand. Let's do this at 14. Normally something like this is 18 or more, but it's a beautiful dyed chalcedony. It's got a light, some of them aren't really that dyed, you can tell. It's got a light lavender dye on some of them. Some of them are just really nice chalcedony faceted rounds. You got that nice, I love that little hint of lavender through the strand. Really pretty. And these are approximately 4 millimeters, 4 millimeter faceted rounds. Chalcedony, 16-inch strand. Super pretty. I love chalcedony so much. One strand available, MN29. MN30. We had this at 14. Let's take it down to 10. Take it all the way down to 10. What the heck? MN30. It's a nice strand of moonstone. Moonstone ovals. One strand available, $10 only for the strand. It's got some nice flash here and there for that blue moonstone. They don't all flash, but there's some that flash pretty good. That is a vintage strand, and that is 14 inches. 14 inches. And these are about 6.5 millimeters by 9.5. MN30. Vintage moonstone gemstone strand. And MN30 has sold. Thank you so much. We're going to go to 40 tonight. MN31. How y'all doing out there? Hanging in there? Doing okay? I'm getting hungry. I'm ready to make my potatoes. I should have turned on the oven. I don't like to turn on the oven too early, though, especially when I'm not downstairs. But I should have turned on the oven. But I got to chop the potatoes anyway. Clean off the eyes of the potatoes that are starting to happen. So this is, again, a whole gross of S-word crystal bicones. These are, I think, the 4 millimeter, right? I said, yeah, about 4 millimeter S-word crystal bicones. This is lilac is the color. I wish I could take these out because I'm sure they're prettier than this old bag shows. But I don't want to open these because then they might go everywhere. These are lilac S-word crystal. Whole gross is 144 beads for $20. MN31. If you're looking for some purple S-word crystal, there you go. Yeah, it doesn't much matter. MN31. Plus, I think it's kind of cool that they're in the old, wherever Andrew got them from, they're still marked. MN31. Everybody still hanging in there? Everybody getting tired? These were, let's see, this is, whoa, this was $12. Let's do it for 10 for you all. MN32. This is a whole lot of these vintage check. Susan's fading a bit. I don't blame you. Haven't been feeling well. Look at these vintage check glass beads. And you get the whole lot of these for $10. These are approximately 8.7 by 11 millimeters. And there's a lot of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 40. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 48 of them. 48 of them. And it says, same Susan, the sickness is so draining. I bet. 48 beads, that's more than a strand. That's a very long strand of vintage check glass for $10 if you're interested. With those beautiful polka dots. And a cat hair there too. There's always cat hair around here. MN32. I'll go quickly through these next ones. We'll speed it up a little bit. I know some people are fading. I'm fading a little. I need to eat. Because I didn't have lunch. I just realized that earlier in the show. I didn't have lunch today. This is carved agate pendant. Trying to see, yeah, the hole's right there at the top. That's the top, so it sits this way. And it's got the moths or the butterflies. They don't have big antennas. They look kind of like moths to me. There's one there and one there. And this pendant, I'm going to do it in inches. It is about 2 inches by 1 inch and 5/8. MN33, $5 only. Hand carved pendant. That's a really good price. That's what we did it at before. Doing it one more time, but I can sell it probably for more than that. For sure. MN34. I think this is the last one of these strands we've got. Is the quatrefoil citrine. This is the last quatrefoil strand period that we've got. Quatrefoil in citrine was $36, now $30. 33 is just sold. Thank you so much. $30 only. Last strand of the faceted quatrefoil citrine. Love this shape. Very nice for making earrings. Have something unique. It's not a shape you see very much. This is a 16-inch strand, and these quatrefoils are about 18 millimeters by thickness-wise 6 millimeters. Susan says, I have 34. It's amazing. Yeah, these are nice. Thank you, Susan. They are very nice beads. Nice quality citrine too. Not like the overcooked citrine. It's a nice yellow. And some people like the darker, but definitely a nice citrine color. MN34. Last strand of these available. $30. And this has sold. Thank you so much. MN35 coming up. I'm also having a pain in my hip. Starting to get that point. Like, oh, I've got a pain in my hip. I feel like I'm Kimberly says, I love the dark chocolate citrine. Yeah, some people like the really dark citrine. I love the bright citrine, but the dark stuff's good too, right? It's good too. It just reminds me of carnelian at that point then. This was 20. bringing it down to 18 for you all. This is a lampwork glass bead. And it says, thank you to whoever got the citrine, saved me. This is a beautiful lampwork glass. I love this. I wanted to see. Yeah, this would go, I was just looking like, I think this would go really pretty with these bone beads. They go pretty with a lot of things because of those nice, beautiful colors in there. But I could see it with these for sure. Looks like a desert sunset. It does, right? Susan says, me too, Anna. Beautiful lampwork glass. This bead is 63. 26 and a half by 12 and a half. In inches, that is just about an inch by a half an inch. An inch by a half an inch. Look at that. Oh, okay. I said I was going faster, and I'm slowing down because I'm looking at the beautiful lampwork glass bead. Let's keep it moving, William. Keep it moving. Keep it moving, Willie. Okay. MN36. MN36. All right. $18 per strand. 2 strands available of these lovely top drilled button pearls. Look how cute. Beautiful vintage quality, vintage style, top drilled, little drops, gorgeous pearls, freshwater. What are all the other keywords, right? 16-inch strand. And these are approximately, ooh, can I get in there without them flip-flopping around? About 5.5 to 6 millimeters. Wow. Yeah, about 5.5 to 6 millimeter pearls. 2 strands available. MN36. $18 for the 16-inch strands. MN37. This is another little kit that Andrew put together and priced really, really well. Only $16. Whoops. Wow, I forgot one of those a while back. I told you, I'm just leaving all the beads everywhere. So now, what are we doing here? We've got these in here. Just want to check to see black light. No, they don't. No, they don't glow. Just checking. So those are vintage check. And then these lava beads, and then this crystal. Come on. So you get these beads. Mint chocolate chip ice cream vibes again, right? I agree. Look at that. There's a theme going on, right? So these are cool vintage glass. I think $16 just for a strand like that would be cool and would be a good price. But you get those, and those are from top to bottom, about 17.5. And width-wise, at their widest, about 15.5. And then you get the lava beads. And you get the whole strand of that. That is a 7-inch strand, and those are approximately 15.5 by 16. And then you get the crystal strand. And this is a long strand. I think this is a 16-inch strand. That's over a 16-inch strand, I think. And those are about 4.5 millimeters. So you get all of that for $16. If that doesn't sell, I'm taking it apart and I'm selling. I might keep these actually, because these I can do some pretty cool earrings or use those in a bracelet. So that's up to you, you all. Do I keep it or do you keep it? Anybody? MN37 still available. $16 for the whole set. I think it's worth it just for those green check glass beads myself. And 38. Andrew priced that one. I wouldn't have priced it at that. Just so you know. MN38. Here's another one of these glass strands. The other two tonight have sold, so we'll see if this one does as well. This is a nice, look at all those. Look at all those beads. So you get these rounds, and the hole goes that way, so you can see the little eyes on those. They look like little eyes anyway. You'd be like that. And then you also get these multiple sizes of these little flower beads with a kind of a dark, kind of a brown purple exterior glass on those. There's a lighter version there. You can see the color. And so you get the whole lot of these. Sampling. The rounds are around 5.5 millimeters. And these other ones, the flat kind of coins, they vary in size. There, it's 9 millimeters for that one. That one is 7.5. That one's about 7.2. That one's about 8.5. So they do vary. And it's MN38, and that one has sold. Thank you so much. Get these picked up. Make sure I don't miss any this time, hopefully. Okay, MN38. 2 more to go, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. MN39. Let's see, what did we have these at? We had these at 14. Let's drop them down to 10. And these are these brushed copper coin beads. Beautiful brushed copper. I love these. These are vintage copper bead. These are approximately 8-inch strands. And they are about 8 millimeter coins. Beautiful brushed copper coin beads, $10 a strand. I love these. All right. MN 39. And then MN 40. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 of these available. They're $3 each. Let go. MN 40. This is Mexican Fire Opal rondelles. Mexican Fire Opal rondelles. And they're all different sizes, but they're super pretty. This came from a very expensive big strand. And these are beautiful. So there are 12 of them, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 12 of them available, different sizes. Mexican Fire Opal, MN 40. Some of these are very juicy, and they're $3 a bead. We have sold these before. We're down to just these 12. We started with a whole strand. It was a very expensive strand, and we're down to just these 12 remaining. MN 40, $3 each, 12 of them available. All right. And that, my friends, is it for tonight. Let me flip the camera around real quick. We'll say a quick goodbye and let you all get off to La La Land for those of you who are heading to bed. And I'm going to go start making some potatoes. I probably won't invoice right away because I'm going to go start, I think, making some dinner and getting that in the oven. And then I'll come back up and start invoicing and spreadsheeting and all that good stuff. So thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. Donna says, thank you, William. Thank you all. I'm glad your show went well, Donna. I'm glad people are starting to feel a little better. Hopefully you all continue to get better and better and better. And for those of you who aren't feeling well, we send out good vibes to you all. We love you all. And we just want the best for all of you. So go get better. See your doctors if you need to, right? Suzanne says, good night, everyone. Enjoy your dinner. I plan to. Donna says, hope everyone gets better soon. Yes, please do. All right, everybody, I'm going to go. I'm going to let you go. Have a great one. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time with some more goodies. Who knows what's going to show up tomorrow? All right. Bye, everybody.